Selected ones. Letting the world think they were just like everyone else was the greatest deception the chosen ones ever committed. Imagine being a spectator in a game that you were unaware existed, but in which every action was planned out long before you arrived. What's the actual kicker? The idiots who believed they were winning were merely pawns, unintentional participants in a strategic masterwork. It's realism, not arrogance. Fun fact, research indicates that 80% of people overestimate their IQ, meaning that the majority of the winners are blatantly ignorant. The chosen ones, meantime, are relaxing while drinking their symbolic tea and giving the impression that they have everything all out. The juicy part comes when the selected finally reveals their hand and the truth hits. It's not just a story twist, it's a mic drop. The formerly arrogant group looks around, bewildered, ashamed, and stupid. And you, well, you may begin to doubt all of the winners you have ever looked up to. Are you prepared to learn how they did it? Playing dumb is an exceptional tactic that the selected ones have perfected. They realized that in a society that is preoccupied with demonstrating intelligence, undervaluation is the greatest strength. Instead of wasting time vying for approval or attention, they read the room, silently took in information, and gave the impression that they were in control. This tactic disarms everyone in their vicinity, which is what makes it so brilliant. When people believe they are more intelligent or capable, they naturally become less guarded. They talk excessively, share their plans, and misjudge the one person in the room who is truly listening. The chosen ones are busy making mental notes, connecting the dots, and planning movements that no one will notice, while others are busy flaunting themselves. This is about patience, not manipulation. They have more time to study the dynamics unhindered when they play stupid. Since they are aware that the truth will eventually be revealed, they don't feel the need to refute myths or defend their position, and it will be more powerful than anything they could have said when it does. What's really amazing is how this method makes people appear stupid without them having to do anything. It becomes more obvious who is truly in charge the louder and more haughty their rivals are. The chosen ones let their accomplishments speak for themselves. They don't need to defend themselves or demand admiration. It's already too late when people discover that the idiot in the room was actually the most intelligent person present. Without ever having to declare victory, the selected ones have outwitted everyone and played the long game. Everyone else is left speechless by it. It's not just smart, it's brilliance wrapped in humility. Your journey starts here. Hit subscribe now and step into your purpose. Don't miss what's coming. As everyone else vies for attention, the chosen ones always appear to be on the periphery, quietly watching. What makes them unique is that they don't strive for acceptance or approval. The chosen ones are busy studying the board, understanding every move and identifying patterns that no one else even knows to look for, while others are busy playing the game. They may seem disinterested or aloof from the outside, but they are actually planning everything. Their capacity to perceive what others miss gives them power. They receive a perspective that insiders never get by remaining on the periphery. They can see who is bluffing, who is scurrying, and who is too preoccupied with themselves to see the wider picture. Being an outsider is their greatest strength, not a weakness. Since they have previously predicted how the mayhem will play out, they are not required to take part in it. The most amazing thing about them is how they operate. They make thoughtful, nuanced choices that have an impact on the system rather than yelling orders or demanding attention. At first, their acts may appear inconsequential, virtually undetectable, but eventually The entire organization yields to their will. They are the best at timing. They know just when to take action and when to wait. It's already too late when the main players in the game discover what's going on. Without ever being overt about it, the chosen ones have impacted results. Not only is it ingenious, but their ability to stay hidden while tugging cords is transformational. They not only play the game better, but they completely reimagine it, leaving others perplexed as to how they failed to see what was always there. It's not as glamorous as it sounds to have known the game all along. It is both a boon and a bane for those who are chosen. Before anyone else even realizes they are in the middle of a game, they witness the movements, the reasons, and the results. The chosen ones already know how it will end, while everyone else is fumbling around, reacting without thinking. However, it is lonely to have this level of awareness. Imagine observing people strive for control, believing they are in authority, even when you know the system is rigged or the conflict is futile. People overplaying their hands, betraying their allies, or unknowingly sabotaging themselves are all visible to the selected ones. However, because the reality is frequently too painful for others to accept, they are not always able to step in or provide an explanation for what they observe. That insight is a solitary one. The selected ones are frequently forced to hold back, bite their tongues, and act as though they are blind to the shortcomings in other people's ideas. People don't want to be told they're incorrect, especially by someone who appears to be ahead without trying. So they've learned that bringing out the truth too soon simply makes them a target. The ongoing balancing act of knowing too much comes at the expense of deciding when to act and when to let others fall into their own traps, as well as whether to speak up and when to remain silent. It's about surviving in a society where intelligence is viewed as a threat and ignorance is frequently rewarded, not about manipulation. Thus, the chosen ones observe, allowing the game to play out and only intervening when it is absolutely required. Knowing the game isn't their only burden. They also have to bear the aggravation of waiting for others to catch up, even when it seems like they never will. Most people don't realize this, but the selected ones do. Strategically, losing isn't really losing. Every blunder, error, and moment of apparent failure is just a deliberate step in a much bigger scheme. They are giving up the fight to win the war, but to everyone else, it appears to be failure, a mistake that knocks them down a few pegs. The chosen ones are laboring in silence while others snicker, make fun of, or feel better about themselves. They reevaluate, adjust, and observe during these alleged defeats. They are aware that occasionally taking a step back to see the wider picture is necessary for success. It's not always about going straight ahead, and since they recognize how fleeting it is, they are prepared to put up with mockery. They make conscious sacrifices by forgoing fleeting victories, little chances, and flimsy rewards in favor of something far more significant. The chosen ones are preparing for their next move, while others are occupied with celebrating fleeting triumphs. They actually enjoy being undervalued, therefore they don't mind it. It allows them to function without being watched and to construct in silence while everyone else is too preoccupied with looking in the wrong way. Then they strike at the appropriate moment. Everyone else is surprised by how quickly the tables change. When the people who laugh the most realize they've been outdone, their shock is nearly humorous. The chosen ones use their alleged losses as stepping stones rather than just recovering from them. Because they have always prepared for success, they make it appear effortless. Their capacity to remain composed in the face of defeat is what stands out the most. Others remain calm in the face of terror, well aware that everything is fitting together precisely as they planned. The truth about people is revealed by the selected ones in a certain way, not by words or deeds, but just by being who they are. They don't deliberately point out flaws or anxieties because they are not required to. Their solid presence, peaceful mastery, and serene assurance serve as a mirror. Fools are compelled to reveal themselves in their presence. It's instinctive rather than deliberate. When an insecure person encounters a chosen one, even if the chosen one remains silent, their darkest doubts and worries appear. The more calm and confident the chosen, the more desperate and frantic the idiot. The existence of the chosen one seems to highlight everything the idiot is attempting to conceal. The chosen ones don't have to compete, compare, or show their value, which is what pushes others into a downward spiral. This isn't a question of malice or superiority. Fools are so accustomed to competing for approval, acting for attention, and displaying dominance that they are unable to deal with someone who doesn't engage in these behaviors. When panic strikes, they overcompensate by talking excessively, acting needlessly, or attempting to outsmart someone who isn't even attempting to win. The fool's own insecurities ultimately lead to their demise. The fool destroys themselves, the chosen one does not destroy them. Most people are afraid of chaos because it robs them of their comfort, reveals their inadequacies, and makes them make difficult choices. However, turmoil presents an opportunity rather than a threat to those who are chosen. Those who are chosen stay composed, steady, and unflappable, while others panic and reach for stability or control. They see that disorder is not the conclusion, but rather the start of something new. Therefore, they don't fear it. The ability to recognize turmoil as an opportunity for reconstruction is what distinguishes the chosen. They see possibilities where others see devastation. They are aware that holding on to antiquated concepts or dysfunctional systems just makes pain worse. Rather, they allowed everything to collapse. Even if it means temporarily experiencing discomfort, they have no qualms about tearing down anything that no longer benefits them or anyone else. Those around them are uneasy about their readiness to accept the mess. Even if it is based on a tenuous foundation, people crave for certainty. The chosen reject that delusion. Others are uneasy because of their bravery in the face of uncertainty. They are strategically minded, not careless. They are aware that the only way to create space for something better is frequently to break it down. They see chaos as a playground where they may express their ingenuity and adaptability. They flourish in unpredictable times rather than merely surviving them. They come out stronger each time, solve problems no one else sees, and make choices others are afraid to make. Their poise is what's most impressive. While others thrashed in despair, they made the deliberate move. They used the very force of chaos to drive themselves ahead, rather than wasting energy battling the inevitable. They ultimately changed the landscape, leaving everyone else rushing to catch up, rather than merely weathering the storm. There is a paradox among the chosen ones. On the one hand, their seamless precision, natural brilliance, and serene assurance are admirable. They have a magnetic quality that makes people want to be around them, learn from them, or just be with them. However, resentment is a dark side of admiration. There is someone who silently envies the selected ones for every admirer. Their elegance and skill cause others to consider their own failings, which frequently results in unpleasant realities. The chosen don't put forth as much effort as the others. Their success comes almost naturally to them, and the sharp contrast causes others to doubt their own value. The chosen and others around them have a complicated connection as a result of this dualism. People hope they make a mistake, but they also want to celebrate them. While they secretly hope for their failures, they are enthralled with their successes. This mixture of admiration and anger creates a persistent undertone that is rarely addressed. The fact that the chosen ones don't request this attention only serves to highlight how remarkable it is. They are merely living their true selves. They have no desire to rule or establish themselves. However, their very presence puts those in their vicinity to the test and compels them to face fears they would like to avoid. Because of this conflict, the chosen are both feared and admired. Your journey starts here. Hit subscribe now and step into your purpose. Don't miss what's coming. Commended for their accomplishments, but denigrated at the first hint of weakness. The chosen accept it, despite the fact that it is an odd and frequently lonely position. They wouldn't have it any other way, because they recognize that being truly remarkable requires balancing celebration with misunderstanding. The chronology that the selected ones follow is entirely different from everyone else's. While everyone else is rushing for short-term success and rapid gains, they are planning for years or even decades in the future. They are aware that what comes swiftly frequently goes away just as soon, so they comprehend the transient nature of rapid gratification. They concentrate on creating something enduring, something so firmly established that no storm can upend it, rather than striving for fleeting triumphs. Their best weapon is patience. While others race to show themselves in a world addicted to speed, they wait, watching, learning, and subtly setting the foundation for something much greater. They may come across as slow or even out of touch due to their purposeful pace, but this is all part of the plan. Their focus is on the long term, the kind of achievement that lasts rather than merely happening. And they have no interest in impressing anyone with short-term success. People around them are irritated by this strategy. Individuals find it hard to comprehend why the chosen aren't demanding attention or racing to compete. They confuse patience with indifference, failing to recognize that the chosen are always evolving and growing. The distinction is that their actions aren't merely showy. Each choice they make is deliberate, and each action is planned to fit a vision that is much bigger than what most people can perceive. And the outcomes are indisputable when their efforts are eventually realized. The chosen have created empires, relationships, abilities, and legacies that endure, while everyone else is pursuing flimsy stories. Most impressive is their capacity to maintain composure under duress. Trends, fads, or the urge to prove oneself don't influence them. The chosen ones are the biggest disruptors in a world where people want results right away. Not only does their patience distinguish them, but it also makes them unstoppable. The chosen are frequently shrouded in miscommunication, and they like it that way. Allowing others to misinterpret them is a calculated strategy, not a sign of weakness. Since deception is one of their biggest advantages, they have perfected the skill of remaining unreadable. People are typically staring at a well-positioned decoy, an illusion intended to divert attention from the actual game, when they believe they have identified the chosen ones. This strategy accomplishes two goals. First, it shields the chosen from needless scrutiny, since people pay less attention to what's truly going on behind the scenes, the more they concentrate on their presumptions. Second, it gives them freedom. They may move freely, change their intentions, and attack when no one is looking. This is made possible by operating in the shadow of misunderstanding. The fact that the chosen ones don't waste time rectifying myths just adds to the intrigue. They have no desire to justify themselves or win acceptance. Indeed, they are aware that trying to dispel myths frequently backfires, attracting unwarranted attention and leaving them open to criticism. Rather, they keep silent and let people to believe anything they wish. The secrecy surrounding the chosen one is intentional. It is a feature of their creation. It keeps people guessing, speculating, and making poor decisions about what to do next. They use this air of uncertainty as a weapon, a shield, and a strategy to stay one step ahead of the competition. Usually, it is too late by the time someone discovers the truth. Already, the chosen have outwitted their skeptics and accomplished their goal. Their resistance to be completely understood is a tactic, not a sign of conceit. They have perfected the art of being a question that no one can truly answer in a society that is fixated on classification and labeling. For the selected ones, success is just a part of who they are and not something they work for. It is an internal standard, a personal benchmark that functions in any situation, rather than being gauged by honors or outside acknowledgement. The chosen live in a condition of success because they have defined winning on their own terms, and no one else's view can change that, while the rest of the world seeks affirmation. The chosen are already planning their next course of action, even when it appears to everyone else that they have failed. They understand that failures are chances to improve their strategy, not losers. They're actually recalibrating, learning, and adjusting when they seem to stumble, often without anyone noticing. Although it may appear to the outside world that they have been hit, their handling of the situation has already made them feel like they have won. Their strength lies in their disengagement from outside approval. While others strive for notoriety, likes, and promotions, the chosen prioritize their personal development and advancement. They are unstoppable because of their focus. They are not influenced by outside factors or distracted by noise. Their success is not a product of their environment. Rather, it is an intrinsic aspect of who they are. They navigate the world with quiet assurance because they define success according to their own standards. They don't need praise to know they're headed in the right direction, and they most definitely don't need permission to keep going. Nothing, no obstacle, no opinion, no setback can divert them from the route they have already won in their minds. Being in the presence of a chosen one is akin to being compelled to gaze into an unforgiving mirror. They create an atmosphere where the truth can no longer be disregarded because of their clarity, self-assurance, and unwavering sense of self. Their unashamed way of life is more important than their words or actions. Everyone around them feels as if every fear, uncertainty, and insecurity suddenly surfaces, whether they want it to or not. This pain is existential rather than personal. The chosen do the work just by being there. They don't have to point out faults or critique others. Individuals are compelled to face themselves in unexpected ways because they are standing next to someone who doesn't need to prove anything. They begin to doubt their decisions, goals, and value. Many people can't handle the stress created by this quiet confrontation. On the inside, they are struggling with a truthful reflection, even if they may play along, nod, and smile. Fascinatingly, the chosen ones aren't there to make anyone feel inadequate or small. They don't purposefully inflict this discomfort. All they're doing is living in their reality. The discomfort that others feel isn't about the selected. Rather, it's about the introspection that makes everyone face aspects of themselves that they'd prefer to ignore. The chosen just live in complete authenticity, and that in and of itself upends things. They don't impose change. This encounter becomes a pivotal moment for those who are courageous enough to tackle it. People are not merely challenged by the chosen, they are compelled to become more authentically themselves, even if doing so causes discomfort. The true strength of the selected ones is found in their capacity to transcend the game completely, not in how they play it. For the chosen, success has never been about competing for the prize. Rather, it is about seeing that the game itself is a diversion. For most people, success is about surpassing the competitors or reaching higher. When they eventually admit that they've been ahead all along, it's shocking not only because they were aware of the rules, but also because they've already broken them. The chosen have come to the realization that the game is rigged and not worth playing, while everyone else is still focused on winning or outdoing one another. They don't require awards, honors, or recognition. The last move is an exit, not a victory. They choose not to participate in the mad dash and exit the board completely. This is a subtle, almost anticlimactic moment. It's just a subdued departure from a game that has lost all of its significance. There isn't any grand unveiling or dramatic statement. The chosen has already left the game they used to play, leaving the other participants to wonder where they went. This tactic is so effective because it traps everyone else in the same old cycle of comparison and competition. The chosen have overcome the need for outside approval. Thus, they don't need to prove anything. They realize that understanding when to quit a game is more important for real success than winning it. The greatest victory of all is ultimately their refusal to engage, their departure, and their silence. The chosen redefine the rules rather than adhering to them. They silently function on a distinct level while the rest of the world clamors for recognition, attention, and immediate success. Since their achievement is determined by their own standards rather than by the ephemeral judgments of others, they don't require validation to realize their value. They are both loved and feared for their unwavering composure in the face of turmoil, their capacity to transform mistakes into strategic maneuvers, and their ability to help people confront their own fears. They produce rather than compete. Additionally, they play the game to completely transcend it rather than for the prize. The chosen ones have already triumphed by the time others realize. Your journey starts here. Hit subscribe now and step into your purpose. Don't miss what's coming.